This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Tonight, 76. It's me.
Trombone?
Well, keep it in your pants. Yes, it's me, Phil. I'm joined by Tree Climber Esser.
Yeah, that's me.
Lilith.
It's Saturday night. Y'all know what it means. Tip it!
At the Hellfire household, it means alcohol and minimum clothing.
Tip it.
Yeah.
All right.
We need that to be.
Let's get to it so Lilith can get horizontal for multiple reasons. Capes and Lunatics starts right now. Yeah, I already did our intro, so.
Yeah, just let me say something, Phil.
Yes,
don't put your pedestrian sense of human love in Lilith's life. There's no assumption that she will be horizontal.
Oh, Lilith.
One way or another, I will be.
Lilith, do you do it standing up? Whoa.
You can.
Well,
it's fun.
I'm not saying she does. I'm just saying don't assume.
Well, I said she might pass out from the alcohol.
Yeah, one way or another, that's the plan.
But even then, you can pass out.
Standing up? Oh, well, if you said standing up.
Just have to have all the pillows right, and they can...
I'm not sure if Lilith is enjoying every second of us examining her life.
In my old age, I have become a very good sport, you must admit, Philip.
Yes, I must.
There we go.
But, I heard
I
heard you two talking about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I'll let you get to, but first, I just watched episode 9 of Daredevil. Easily, Daredevil Season 3 is my favorite season of any Marvel Netflix show.
It's a shame it might not be around for next season.
I was telling Lilith, I said, Charlie, every episode now, I'll get to the end, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just watch one more, because I only have time for one, and then I'll get to the end, and I'm like, I can't believe I don't have any more time. Every episode, at the end of every episode, I swear, I'm just like, I gotta watch more.
And that's how I feel about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so...
Ooh.
I think the cinematography and the scoring and the sound design is just so impeccable on that show. I mean, I think it's the best Netflix original show on the whole entire lineup.
Daredevil 3?
No. Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina. I don't want to, because Phil wanted to talk Daredevil, but he's like,
well, we already talked it last week, so I mean, if you want to talk
I like it.
When are you going to finish, Charlie?
Oh, man, I still have to finish Iron Fist, man. I gotta confirm with...
Spoiler alert, Iron Cast listeners!
Besides the podcast, why?
No, because of the podcast.
I shouldn't say that. At least the second season was better than the first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not... Iron Fist is one of these shows where... It's not that I dislike it. I very much enjoy the episodes I've seen. There's nothing that makes me not want to watch it. But when you
turn it off, it's kind of not memorable.
It's just
forgettable.
It's the weakest of all that Marvel stuff on Netflix.
Yeah, it's not pulling me in. And you know what I will say, and this is the thing I'll say, is I do think we're getting Heroes for Hire. I think the cancellation of Luke Cage and Iron Fist is telling. Because I think Netflix is holding on to both to do Heroes for Hire. I think really the only question right now is, do they get to do Heroes for Hire? What are the rules with their legal obligations with Marvel? And I think that is 99% of what is keeping any announcement on either side quiet right now. Because the lawyers are saying, well, okay, if we do this, where does it go? Does it go in Disney streaming? Does it go on Netflix? Is this going to be a thing where it's
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like a Titans UK, where, outside of the US, it's on Netflix. And in the US, it's going to be on Disney streaming. And that may have been Disney's. That might have been Netflix's strategy all along to just be a big enough player that they could say that they could create the content with other people, but just so you know, when you go outside the U.S., we get to show this. We are the central clearing hub for the rest of the world. You just get that piddling U.S. market.
Well, North American market, to be fair, probably.
Well, yeah. We'll include Canada and Mexico in that.
Said U.S., Mexico, and our friends to the north with the legal weed now.
Yeah, that's Canada.
Praise my Canadian
Oh,
friends.
Lilith, you moved at the wrong time, huh?
No, I moved just in time. Thank you very much. I don't want to be around a bunch of people like me. That's hell. That is truly hell.
I can't buy potato chips in the grocery store anymore. What the heck?
So,
the bag milk just kept freaking me out, just to be honest.
Lilith. So getting back to Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, you do realize you're getting a call out in this.
How's that?
You do know who Ms. Wardwell is, right? Oh, maybe you missed it. I asked if you had seen the Dream episode where Batty Bat calls her the mother of demons.
Oh, yeah, Lilith is the mother of demons. Okay. Succubus Queen is my preference, but, mother demons. Not quite mother dragons, it's okay.
Mother of demons. Well, no, I mean, and this is my favorite part about the Dream episode. Spoilers, is how biblical it gets. It's actually, honestly, it's kind of this weird thing for me as I watch it because, this is like all canon law stuff right now. The baptismal certificate that Sabrina produces is invalid under canon law. Because you cannot have a godmother who was not confirmed in the Catholic Church. Bum, bum, bum. So unless this is a weird, crazy... Had it been a Protestant church, it would have been just fine. But because they made it a Catholic church, that baptismal certificate is null and void under canon law. No, I need to let out so that I'm not broadcasting in complete darkness.
But no, I do think this is I am obsessed with just the whole design. I was because I'm not a fan of Riverdale. Riverdale is ridiculous but glorious at the same time in its own way. But it's just something about this show. I love the way that Riverdale is shot. And it takes aspects of that, and then it puts it on 100. I just absolutely love the way this show looks, and it has that. This is how you do that anachronistic feel because they do a lot of the old school music. She dresses kind of, but that can pass for hipster. But I like how they didn't put the date. They just in the very pilot episode, October 27th of this year. Yeah. I like that. Of
course, Halloween doesn't fall on a Friday this year, so obviously.
And that's what I said. I was just it's on a stupid Wednesday.
Here's what I feel about this show, and especially with the characters of Sabrina and Zelda. They really got the musicality of Melissa Joan Hart and the actress who played the original Zelda in the show, where I really feel that this show is like the movie version. How you always do here's the movie version that we made of your story, and it's all gritty and realistic, and everyone's all dramatic. It's this is what if Sabrina the Teenage Witch, they did a movie of it based on the life of the actual Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and they overemphasized it. If you ever saw the film Chicken Little?
Yeah.
And then they do the movie at the end, and and the fat kid's now the big buff kid, and he says, "Just leave me some water and some chips if you have them." And that's what this is. And can I just say, I'm so enthused to see Cousin Balky back.
Last seen on, I think, The Leftovers.
Well, either way, I am, because you know what? This is the thing. It's I'm watching it and I see Bronson Pinchot. It's wait a minute.
What?
Who's Bronson Pinchot?
Is it the early 90s?
I know who Bronson Pinchot is, but I'm thinking, wait. Because I realized, well, obviously he's not playing Balky. He's not going to come in as Balky. He's not going to say, no, we do the dance of joy, Sabrina. No. Obviously, I know that. But it's and then I go back and, he's Hawthorne. And I realize as I go, and then now when I'm watching it, and I just see Bronson Pinchot as Hawthorne, and then I think back to Martin Mull as the principal in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And I realized, oh my gosh, it is such a show that has somehow managed to give homage to that series before it and still make its own way. Where they said, look, we know that there's going to be a lot of heartbreakers out there who are going to hate our show if we don't somehow acknowledge that this is what came first. I think they did a great job of that, and I love Hilda.
Yes, Hilda's my favorite.
Hilda is always my favorite, and not for nothing. Caroline Ray was probably was kind of my favorite then too. I love the fact that they've sort of replaced wisecracking Salem with Ambrose.
Yeah,
I love you too.
Which comes from the comics, and I can't remember if we're to the part where they reveal his familiars. I hope they keep it to the twin cobras because that's pretty dope.
Yes, but it is very cool that we have Ambrose playing that Salem part, but we still got Salem, and we have everyone talking to Salem the way that they would in the original series. But all we hear is the meow.
I like the explanation for the familiars that they're goblins that take on animal form. I feel like we never, I kind of missed the old spin on Salem that he was a witch that got confined into the identity of the cat to keep him from taking over the world. Kind of like Klaus in American Dad.
Well, I mean, and for what it's worth, that's sort of Ambrose's story too.
Yeah.
Ambrose.
My God, House in confinement for 75 years with those two wacky heifers? Wow, that is a push.
Well, exactly.
And then you have to work in a mortuary? Oh.
Well, I'm sure that's not the worst of it, I mean.
Oh, no wonder you like this show, Lil. You have to stay in the house for 75 years?
Exactly. But I would like, I mean, he's on house arrest. I like the option that I can actually leave if I want.
Yes. But, no, but like I said, the Dream episode really, because what I loved about the Dream episode and the one that follows it, which is the Devourer Worm episode, is they are very much a Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah.
So basically, after we get that first arc of the trial, we do get into kind of a Monster of the Week feel, but they somehow make that Monster of the Week feel seem like it has weight and merit.
It's the nod to Buffy, where it's like all your teenage anxiousness or whatever is combined into that Monster of the Week thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that idea of it, and certainly it is, and Wardwell is this character that I'm so not sure of, because I get the feeling that at times, because first off, when Wardwell first came back, do you know the
history at all behind the character from the comic book?
Literally, I only know Sabrina and the Groovy Ghoulies.
Well, like I said, from the Sabrina the Chilling Adventures comic book.
Yeah, I saw like the first episode of it. I was not into it because it seemed, well, this is all very devil worshipy. And although, and it's weird because here, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, this is how they're playing with the Satanistic tropes, which, okay, so Satanism, for those who don't know, is all about personal freedom. And it is about, and for what it's worth, it is a Discordian religion because most Satanists don't actually believe in a Satan as a being.
Yeah.
They believe in that, and this is about how when you put that belief in there, when there is a Satan as a being, then essentially it becomes as rigid and patriarchal and oppressive as...
Which Sabrina brings up.
well, as everyone brings up, as freaking the three weird sisters bring up, saying, oh, he would never let anyone, not you, not anyone, have both power and freedom, So we got to fill the show, okay? So I know you don't get to participate in this conversation.
No, I'm trying to set the mood.
That's how Phil speaks in drops. Have you not noticed that? How long have we been doing? Phil speaks in drops. That's his language.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I really think this is what struck me as the most interesting aspect of it, which I'll get into in Superconnectivity later, but this is actually a Warner's production. Mm-hmm. And we get that big WB. And it does strike me, and this, like I said, this is something we're going to get into in Superconnectivity, because we're going to talk the business and the politics of it. How right now Netflix is sort of, as Marvel is sort of moving their way, they say, well, hey, there's DC right over there just looking for a wild time out, like so much Little Hellfire. We pick on Lilith Hellfire. Only because she's the only one who's technically still single, even if she has a boyfriend. That you're single until you have a ring.
I'm not tied down.
Yeah, that's what I said. You're single till you got a ring. Nothing wrong with being single. Hey, I got friends who've been with the same person for like longer than I've been with my wife. But, they said, no, we're just not getting married. This is where we're at. This is where we're happy. And it's like, budge the world in your rules, like a true Satanist would.
Lilith is like, don't say the B word.
Anyway.
But, so, did, Lilith will roll her eyes at this, but, Charlie, did you see they put out a bunch of Avengers 4 info?
Is that real?
All I've seen, okay, so here's what I've seen. I've seen that, so here's the thing. We know that, Crossbones is coming back.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah.
Now, well, yeah, exactly. It's like he shot a scene, or he shot several scenes. But we don't know what that scene is. We don't know what that means.
Well, I'm wondering if, they're going to see a bunch of dead people, because didn't he get blown up? Because they said, supposedly, I don't know if she was only there for even one day of shooting also, but Tilda Swinton is supposedly maybe in it too for a tiny bit, so.
Yeah, but she's the Ancient One. The Ancient One dies and comes back all the
time. So maybe they're going to see, if they're all in the Soul Stone, spoiler alert, maybe they're going to see
Tilda Swinton just is movie. Even after Tilda Swinton died in Doctor Strange, she still came back.
Yeah.
So it's like Tilda Swinton can come back whenever the heck she dang well pleases. She is not bound by your, as Ares says, it's different for gods, Once you get to a certain level, it's different. And what I wonder with a guy like Crossbones is, so here's a crazy thought. What if Grillo's back? What if it's not necessarily Crossbones? What if he's a clone?
Oh.
What if...
Of course, is how they're sneaking it in there.
Here's what I'm going to say.
The Jackal.
We got him. He's back. Spider-Man's here. We can bring in some Spider-Man villains. We snuck in the Vulture. What if, when we get into this, we've got, what's Vulture's? What's Jackal's real name?
Miles Warren.
We get Miles Warren there at the facility where we're out of heroes and we need more.
That would be cool.
We've got some of the best DNA on the planet in our handy-dandy Shield/Hydra DNA database.
That would be cool, but we don't even need the Jackal.
And then Riley shows up.
Well, yeah. Why not? Why not make a couple extras? Maybe get ourselves a little Burnsides going. Maybe a Jack Monroe here and there.
But we don't even need the Jackal because remember the Red Skull used to be in a clone body of Captain America. Zola made that clone body, and we already have Zola.
Well, yes, but he didn't make it in this universe because he would have made one for himself.
True. Or
all I'm saying.
All right.
You've got other out. Heck, for right now you can put in Reed Richardson.
Watch Charlie Esser get excited, maybe more so than we want to think about. Charlie, who else has been tinkering with cloning technology recently in the comics?
You mean who has perfected cloning technology above all of the inferior scientists who've come before him? Yes, of course. Otto Octavius has certainly perfected the system. And I would love for that. I would love for that to be his into Avengers 4, Electric Boogalore.
Did you see those pictures from Spider-Man Far From Home? That suit was looking kind of superior Spider-Man-ish, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but honestly, the superior Spider-Man suit is a play on the Iron Spider suit, which has already been established.
Yeah.
This is all Stark tech. But
it was looking like the color was looking darker, instead of I think it was supposed to be like a dark blue, but it was looking kind of black to me,
Yeah, entirely.
I think it was just the lighting, though, for sure.
Yeah, but the whole.
That's why it looks different on film too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it always looks different on film. All right, here I got a new trick for you. Speaking of Avengers, Charlie Esser. Do you know who that actress is?
Christina Ricci?
No, that is Catherine Langford. She has been cast in an unknown role in Avengers 4.
Okay.
She's taking Scarlet Witch's place?
I don't know. She honestly, women today, when you all do the same makeup, my facial recognition is bad enough. And it's like when you put on the Insane Clown Posse stuff. It's like I can't read that. It's like you all look alike now. It's like, oh, we all have smoky eyes and big red lips. It's like, okay, well, that's what my facial recognition can read.
Wow.
I'm just saying, I have limitations in my facial recognition.
You all look alike.
Makeup, everyone looks alike me. You look like Insane Clown Posse to me. You know? You look
if
like
he's not his wife, all women look alike. That's totally fine. And
whoop, whoop.
You better stick to that story too, Phil.
I'm just saying, man, you know, hey, I don't say this for everybody. A lot of people my wife can differentiate people's faces. I can't. It's not a skill I have. It's like, you know, I can see a face.
You all might as well be lizard people to Charlie Esser.
I pretty much assume everyone is. You know?
Yeah, me too. Thank you,
I just assume everyone else is in the conspiracy, and I'm not. I basically assume the world's a conspiracy.
Everyone.
And I'm like the one guy who didn't get invited. It's like the No Homers Club. I'm like the Homer in the No Homers Club. The No Homers Club runs the world, and I'm Homer.
Speaking of The Simpsons, did you see?
No more Apu.
Yeah, we talked about this before, but yeah, supposedly they're quietly phasing out Apu.
Well, of course they are, and that, I mean, honestly.
Well, South Park took a big shot at them with the problem with Apu. You know, with Mr. Hanky. I don't know if we're all South Park fans, but the last episode, one of the last episodes of the season before they went on this little break, was the Christmas Pooh, Mr. Hanky, and they go, where would a racist piece of crap feel at home? And ends up in like literally, this is the message that would feel at home, and they show like Springfield, and like you see like I was like, but didn't you guys rip on Family Guy?
So wait, I'm sorry, but
South Park just takes their shots.
Well, I don't get it. So is Mr. Hanky racist now?
Well, his tweets that he sent out were very he said he was on Ambien.
Did Mr. Hanky pull James Gunn?
Yeah, so it's a
you guys got to watch that.
No, honestly, here's what I'm gonna say about South Park. I think those guys have run their course.
More than The Simpsons? The Simpsons have been around literally for like 30 years.
And they get new, and you know what?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Simpsons.
The Simpsons have new writers every couple of years. They actually get new people to write new stories, and they don't worry about continuity. And they actually build out a new universe.
South Park tried the trick with continuity, and it was hit and miss. Like, the first 2 seasons that they did it with was great, and then the next 2 seasons they went overboard. Because Matt and Trey don't have any oversight because they're the boss. I totally get what you're saying, but I still think they have more. It's still good episodes that outweigh the bad episodes. And it's only 10 episodes.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Yeah.
So here's what I'll for me.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say with South Park. When did that come out? That came out in like what?
Late 90s.
91? Yeah.
Wait, South Park?
South Park. Yeah,
South Park and Family Guy came out almost around the same time.
Like late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
it's in its 22nd season or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's a good show. I enjoy it. From time to time. But I just feel, you know what it is? As I kind of like Teen Titans Go, it has a very aggressive schedule. But unlike Teen Titans Go,
you have to watch it every week.
Well, no, unlike Teen Titans Go, people expect way more from it.
Well, yeah, they put it out in 7 days and things like that.
Yeah, so Teen Titans Go has an aggressive schedule, but the fact of the matter is, we're going to...
It's because Cartoon Network won't let it die. It's always on.
Yeah, but Teen Titans Go, here's what I'm saying. Teen Titans Go, you watch it for the fun, and you love it for the pathos. South Park somehow got turned into art, and I think that's what killed it. Basically, South Park has gotten to this spot where it's supposed to be sit and listen to comedy instead of just laugh.
That's when comedy. Trey and Matt started doing like what was it, American Team Go and Book of Mormon, things like that. Yeah. I think right around that time when they were, and it wasn't like basketball, like Please Poop, or the one where the Mormon missionaries.
I love basketball.
Yeah.
Like once they got past that, they were like, maybe they're trying to have a message. Maybe we should take a closer look at South Park. And that's when they did try to feed into that synergy. And sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't. Like, I don't appreciate Garrison as a Trump stand-in. Like, I just don't need that in my TV show.
Well, the thing is that,
especially Kenny.
What it comes down to is you can do it's one of these two things. You can be You can have that aggressive schedule, or you can
Schedule's a bear.
or you can be that show that does that depth every episode. And what I think about The Simpsons is that they do a lot, but they actually, because they're like so in, it's like, you know, they've like made episodes like for the next 4 years, you know. They're like, you know, they have time to write them, they have time to talk about them, and there they have that question, gee, will this still be a thing when this show goes to air? Whereas South Park is like, we've got to do this now, and we have to do it now. You can't always be good, and unfortunately, I think South Park is in this limbo where it can't always be good and it can't always be funny, and it gets like later episodes of MASH where you just get maudlin. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyone remember old MASH when
I remember those three. I remember those.
And it got real maudlin, and it was like, "Oh, war is horrible." It's like, yes,
speaking of Titans this week,
but we're supposed to be laughing because this is MASH. I know the hip language the kids use these days.
I know where Lilith.
I thought episode 3 of Titans was better than 2.
That's where you're going. Okay. Yeah, I did like episode 3. We finally saw Starfire again. Beast Boy saw them for 2 seconds.
So do you guys think, because this is my fan there, I don't think I've mentioned it yet. Phil says he thinks I mentioned it. I don't remember mentioning it. Do you think Starfire is actually supposed to be Blackfire? That the person we're thinking is Starfire is actually Blackfire, and that's why she has this backstory of, oh no, I'm on the run, and I don't remember my past.
Do you think they're going to go there with an African-American actress, though?
What?
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't put it past.
If you make actual Starfire black too, it really doesn't matter. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
If Corian, or Tamarandian,
so that's want to know.
Dark skinned, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, you know.
I don't know.
That was a whole.
They could go there. I mean, they could do anything at this point because he doesn't remember anything.
I know, but it just strikes me that okay, so here we have a Starfire who speaks perfect English, which Blackfire does. Who is a bit of a BA, like Blackfire is, who doesn't seem to be all kittens and joy in life like Starfire is. So it makes me think, well, maybe this is meant to be a bait and switch. It's meant to be, oh, look, it's Starfire. And everyone gets, oh, that's not Starfire, that's more like Blackfire. I think, well, yeah, because it was, bitches. But
and there's my drop.
There you go. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I think you're thinking more of the Teen Titans Go version, too. And it's like, in the comics, I mean, she wasn't as BA, but it was, you know, she was still like...
No, Blackfire's always been BA.
I know, but I mean, Starfire was like, in the comics, was like, the original comics, wasn't she like enslaved, and then, you know, she had to escape her jailers, and...
I mean, entirely possible. I haven't read all of the... I haven't read all of the
Teen Titans comics.
I mean, there's like 40 years of Teen Titans comics. These kids have been teens for a very long time.
Well, that's why they mix it up, and now they have Damien's team. But yeah, no, I did enjoy Lilith. I did enjoy episode 3, but I don't know. There's still, I mean, especially with the Dick Grayson flashbacks.
It's a lot to be desired.
I mean, they have him stealing Bruce Wayne's car when he was a kid and all that. I'm like, the show's good, but they're portraying him more like Jason Todd than Dick Grayson.
Wait,
I told you they're mixing it up.
He steals Bruce Wayne's car when he's Dick Grayson Ward?
Yes.
Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Okay.
When he's a ward. Yes.
Well, once he's a ward, obviously, trust me, Robin stole Bruce Wayne's car.
And he's telling, what was that, like a social worker or something? He's like, I have to be the person to find my parents' killer before anyone else, before the police, so I can kill them. I'm like, that is so Jason Todd. And then they're bringing in Jason Todd eventually.
Not for nothing. Why does he think his parents were murdered?
Because he was told that, you know, wasn't there even in the flashback, Lilith? Cause I think they told him, they're like, yeah, Dick, we have to tell you something. It's like your parent, you know, your whole parent's death wasn't an accident.
Why would a cop tell a little kid that?
Yeah.
I don't think it was. I don't know.
Unless they were like, hey, did you cut that rope? Did you cut that rope? Hey, look, Parents, they just don't understand.
Yeah, but how old is he supposed
Sometime
to
in the 80s, and that's a catchphrase that the kids.
Yeah, but how old is he supposed to be there? He looks like he's at least 12 or 13.
Well, yeah, so maybe he cut the rope himself. Maybe.
I mean, don't you? I mean, you're like, I see your point. Why would you tell a kid that? But again, don't you want to? I guess they want to be honest with him, and it's like,
Wait. Where did his parents die? Were they stopped in Gotham? Is that the story still? Because I mean, Gotham cops are kind of incompetent. That's the point.
What? Oh, yeah. Well,
was Bullock the detective? Was Harvey Bullock the detective on the scene?
No, I don't think it was even a cop.
I feel like it was Harvey.
Wasn't it like a? In the story, I don't know, but in the show, wasn't it like a social worker? It was some woman, and she didn't. Yeah, it wasn't like a cop. It was like some social worker. So maybe she was just bad at her job.
So, I mean, either way, anybody in Gotham that's not Batman is incompetent. That's the way that
exactly, Charlie. Gotham Social Services.
You know, I actually wrote a sketch about Gotham Social Services. Of course I did. It's just all about the very difficult trouble they have with all these children experiencing PTSD because their parents keep getting murdered by a giant bat. And these kids developing all these weird fixations on riddles and hats and...
Is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? If so, is he on the police payroll?
Yeah, well, not for nothing. Oh, by the way, I read Justice League Dark recently, the last 2 issues. That is such a good season. And I do love it.
But somebody likes it.
I'm sorry. It's something Charlie Esser would like, And, they got me, man. I don't know, man.
It's something Charlie Esser would like. Let me just put it to you that way.
I'm just saying, I read these things like, yeah, Man-Bat and Detective Chimp and Swamp Thing too. He's cool. They keep on doing Constantine. I honestly, I'm a little over Constantine, but that's fine.
Shut your mouth and get out, Charlie. We love Constantine or we get out.
On our Newcastle group?
Fight me, nerd.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, what about our Newcastle Crew podcast?
Well, I mean, hey, look. Everyone else can like Constantine. That's fine. I just think Constantine is kind of a jerk. I don't, and I get that that's how he's supposed to be written. I just don't find that it's like if you wrote a book about J. Jonah Jameson. It's not necessarily going to be a book I'm going to enjoy. I like J. Jonah Jameson because I do agree he's right. I probably agree that Constantine is right 90% of the time. But actually seeing him in these stories, it's like, I don't know if that's really working for me. Because he seems like, I don't get any of you, and you're all, piss off, you wankers, because that's how British people talk,
So many drops.
That's how British people talk.
Well, Charlie, did you watch the season premiere of Legends of Tomorrow?
Oh, that came out already? Oh.
Yeah, Monday. It's Monday nights at 9:00.
Catch up!
Only 1 episode so far.
It's on Hulu. I'll go to Hulu. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But every Monday
night. I have the CW app too, so I can find it there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll watch it tonight.
Yes, look
Hulu without commercials or...
I like commercials.
Who has money for that?
Okay.
But
look, you have to pee. You have to pee, and so you need commercials. It's fine. You can drop that all day if you want. All I'm saying is you watch a television show, you are drinking a beer. I mean, honestly, that's annoying when I'm watching Netflix. I gotta pause it.
The pause button is for. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unless you're watching with, more than one person. If you got 2 people in the room.
Who watches TV with people? Ew.
Who has people in their house 24 hours a day?
And Tristan.
You do what you have to do with them and kick them out the door.
Me and Tristan watch television together on a regular basis. Sometimes Ben too.
Okay, fair enough.
So what are you guys fighting about?
You see, Lilith, when offspring emerge from your loins, then you're supposed to spend.
Hey! Don't put that pressure. No one. I'm going to say this right now.
No, I didn't say her. I just said when they do happen, you spend time with them.
Actually want one.
Look, listen, no offense to y'all, but breeders, y'all, I got enough of y'all. No, I'm not a breeder.
That is, and honestly, Lilith, that is the best way to be. You will know so much more happiness that way than you've ever known having a child.
But yeah, Charlie, I think you'll enjoy the season premiere of Legends of Tomorrow. The title
It's hippies.
It takes place at Woodstock.
Yeah.
And the title, The Virgin Gary.
The Virgin
Because we all love Gary.
Yeah, remember
The
Gary.
intern. Well,
from the Time Bureau, Gary?
Oh, he's a virgin? Okay.
That comes into play, yes.
Nah.
That comes into play, yes.
I don't know, man. I am the kind of guy who always gets a little weirded out whenever they make a point about he's a virgin. It's like, that's not anything to be ashamed of.
Think about it. Sometimes with magic spells, you need a virgin.
Well, actually, it's not sexual. It's the virgin. You can't have done a spell with your blood before. That's what a virgin for magic is.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
If you didn't know that.
But getting back to Sabrina the Teenage Witch, that was my first clue that the Church of Darkness, the Church of Night was a problem. Because it makes the point, it's like, you could not have been defiled by anyone. But it's like, really, Aunt Zelda? It's like this is the freedom we're promised, but in our obligation to the Dark Lord. It's like, no. First off, you're calling him the Dark Lord. Obviously, this guy's about titles. And he has chosen a masculine form to be his avatar. So, all things being equal, let's call a shelter half an entrenching tool, please. Yeah, that was the first clue, that obsession with virginity. It's a little nutty. I don't get it, I think, and just to go on that, Matt, I'm going to tell you that some of that Constantine blood, that's got some magic juju that maybe you weren't even expecting. It's like, hey, it ain't virgin blood. It ain't virgin blood, but this is the blood that's gonna F you up. Let me just say that. So
I know the hip language the kids use these days.
Well, now with that demon after him like that, you'll see if you watch it. Anyway,
like I said, I'll watch it. I got CW app and I got Hulu and I got all the apps that are free that with commercials, so it's great. That's why I like Tubi.
Oh, what did you think about Arrow this week, Philip? So Stanley, we should be afraid of Stanley, right? Because I just thought about all the comic books and Green Arrow and Stanley. I was like, this is stuffed animal.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
that dude is creepy.
I like it. I like where they're going, but I'm getting bored with it.
Why do you have to be gay? I mean, we have a lot of other strong gay characters in this universe. Did you really think that too?
Yeah, and the whole flash forward thing is weird because it's like, okay, so all this stuff is definitely going to happen. And didn't William say Oliver and Felicity abandoned him? So what? They never come get him out of that boarding school. Felicity.
I don't think it was the boarding school. I think something happens. They're hinting that something happens later.
So is it going to be a thing?
Maybe Joe Wilson comes after them or something, or
so so again, the flash forward is weird. So are they going to change that, or is that's set in stone now? And I don't know the prison
unless
stuff.
They're canceling Legends.
I know, but the prison stuff is interesting. But I don't know. I'm getting kind of bored. I got bored when Barry Allen was in prison for 3 episodes last year. Now we got to do a whole prison thing.
But mope. Oh, my dad was here. That's all he did.
Oh, Oliver didn't put marks on the wall too? Okay.
And then he erased it and messed stuff up. That's how you do it.
Count of Monte Cristo.
But no, I mean, I like the prison stuff. I like that it has consequences.
It's all about toilets in the DC universe, man.
I don't know. And like we said, they've shown showers already, but I mean, Oliver is a rich guy. He has to have access to a toilet. Come on.
But no, honestly, I don't think he has a toilet in his cell. We panned.
Yeah, I don't think in the cell.
I don't think we've seen it.
You need the toilet in your cell. They don't lay out of the cell to go to the toilet. It's not like a.
You just back onto the gate and you let your business fly, and then somebody comes through with a broom and mops it away.
That's not how they do things. I mean, honestly, it's entirely possible that is how they do things. But that is cruel and unusual. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying,
It's a Supermax. I don't know.
It's like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where sometimes your statement on the law is flawed. And, canonical law is very exact within Roman Catholicism. And, because this was a whole thing. Because there were people that we wanted to be a godmother, and you can't just have a godfather, you have to have a godmother. You can just have a godmother, but you can't have a godfather because, of course, the church is very patriarchal, and you need a woman to handle baby to a woman. You can't have any men in that because men are worthless. Remember that when it comes to raising children.
That's not what the Catholic Church says at all.
Oh, no. Actually, no. That is what when it comes to raising children. That is what the Catholic Church says. They are very much about division of labor, and they're all like, "Oh, women are great. Women are great in this set of jobs that we have assigned.
like Mormons.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying,
Well,
unless you become a nun, and then you can do whatever you want, but you're trouble. But they're the best troublemakers. So.
Anyway,
and they're also the worst supporters of the patriarch. It's like so many double-edged swords in the Catholic Church. But that's what makes canon law fun. I love canon law. Oh,
we'll take your word for it. How'd you feel about the Flash this week?
What do we see?
Nora, I do not like Sherlock Wells. I do not like him. That's not a good French accent. It's not a good British accent. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what that accent's supposed to be, but he's from a different Earth. And do we have to have a different Wells every
Nora's
season?
not Nora.
Oh, I think Charlie Esser called that in the season premiere.
Mm.
Well, yeah. Oh, you mean the shapeshifter who's clearly one of the Martians as part of the invasion? Yeah.
Or maybe she's Reverse Flash's daughter or something.
Yeah,
you know.
I need her to be Eobard Wells. I need her to be that.
Yeah.
The ultimate F you to Barry. Barry needs to be smacked. And I want Eobard Thawne to be the one to do it. If Eddie doesn't come back as Cobalt Blue. Those are the only two people allowed to give him the business.
I don't know.
I still have hope for Eddie. Don't judge me.
The whole cicada thing is just weird, and
it's so weird that it's Chris Klein. I just can't get American Pie out of my mind. I can't get that. And that's who that is. The most bland dude from American Pie. I would have settled for Stiff.
Just so I know, he's called Cicada. It's his whole thing that he sleeps for 20 years and then comes up and kills people.
Well,
do we have a reason he's called Cicada?
Because he makes the cicada noise.
Yeah, in the show he makes the noise. Yeah,
he buzzes.
Yeah, he makes an insect noise.
Yeah,
don't ask me why. Don't ask me why.
And he decided that's what his name's gonna be.
We haven't even heard him.
This was not good with naming people right now. He's too heartbroken over Gypsy.
Well, we
had a villain called Block for that.
The only person who said that to him is Nora from the future, but she said it was even supposed to be someone else, and now she messed the timeline up, so it ended up being somebody else.
Okay. So he's not actually called Cicada. We're just calling him Cicada as a
Well, Nora called him Cicada, yeah.
So now he's Cicada forever. So, okay. I understand. I'm just trying to understand, I'm reading Spartageddon and all that kind of so I'm what is the animal totem? What is the reason for this?
It's DC, you don't need a reason.
You always need a reason, Phil.
Not in
Even
DC.
if the reason is because the writer is lazy.
Flashpoint ain't gotta explain nothing.
Speaking of
all Elseworlds now.
Speaking of lazy writing, can we get the comics?
Okay.
What was lazy this week, Phil?
I've been trying to hold back. I've been trying, if you don't have anything nice to say.
It's a DC book, I bet you.
Oh, it's Mr. Bendis, Action Comics 1004.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been trying to hold my tongue on this, but all right. Charlie, for Charlie Esser and the others. Charlie, when Bendis did Man of Steel, he had Lois and John go into space with the guy claiming to be Jor-El.
I heard that, yeah.
So all of a sudden, Lois is back. Doesn't tell Clark. He finds her in Chicago. She's like, "Oh yeah, John's fine with your father in space. I decided I don't have time to write anymore, so I came back to Earth, and now she's writing this book." Because that's a healthy marriage, Mr. Bendis. People don't spend time apart. Don't tell their.
I mean, I don't even begin to understand.
I think it's just I don't know if
Look, it could be that Superman has a bad marriage, and maybe that's what Bendis' point is that Superman shouldn't be married to Lois Lane, that he shouldn't have kids with Lois Lane. Maybe his point is that this relationship was doomed to start, and that's what he's trying to emphasize. And maybe his point is he should have married Supergirl. Yeah, they're cousins, but that was cool among royalty. And they're technically, and the House of L, it's got a house name. It's like Game of Thrones here. So, maybe that's
the one the other week saying about cousins getting married. You people,
I'm just saying,
cousin marriages.
I'm not. Look, I live in a world where you don't have to marry your cousin because I live in a major metropolitan area, but some folks don't. And so, cousin marriage, you can't be hateful for it because that may be all you got. And when you think about poor Clark and Kara, Carla, whatever her name is, Kara. Anyway, they really are the only two genetic matches in the universe. Unless she decides to go run with not. I'm not arguing the point, and I think that's sort of the deal that they deal with every day. I think they're sitting there like, man, this is kind of a lousy situation for us. We're literally the only last two people of our kind in the universe who aren't complete jerks, and we're related. I think they probably deal with it every day. I think it's probably a lot of difficulties for them. But,
Oh, Lord. Steer the conversation the other way, Phil. Don't just sit there.
I don't know. The whole thing with action is just... They after when New 52 hit, they got rid of the Lois and Clark marriage. People did not like it. They demanded it back. We got it back, and now Bendis is like, "Oh, well, Lois is going to live in Chicago." Superman. I'm like, if she wants, and now she's like Lex Luthor found her. You want to know what she was? He was going to write about him in the book. But I'm like, if she wanted to be sequestered away from everybody, can't she stay in the apartment with him? Say. Hey, because meanwhile, he's been moping around the apartment. He misses these two, and she comes back, doesn't say one word to him. Charlie, even if she wants to be away from him, she can't come back and say, Clark, I'm home, but I'm not coming home. No word, nothing.
Yeah, because she does not want to be with him anymore. This is what Bendis is. So here's what
the fans wanted, and Bendis is pooping all over it, just like
Bendis doesn't care what the fans want. Bendis wants.
Of course, he doesn't.
Look. You know what? That's what I'm gonna say. You can't give the fans what you want, because if you try to give the fans what you want, you're going to give something the fans don't want. You have to create a story. That the fans don't anticipate and can enjoy if they can separate themselves from an insistence that the story always be what they had read when they were 9.
You're supposed to give the fans exactly what they want. Ask Jeff Johns.
But we're going to get to that in Super Connectivity, because I want to save that for Super. Because, Phil, has he given you exactly what you want? Don't answer.
We'll find out
on Super Connectivity. And we're going to talk about it, whether or not he has given Phil what he wants. Okay, but no, let me, and there's a guy who's not read this. And I'll talk about things I haven't read or seen or something. But I'll talk about it with knowledge of reports, and I'll admit that. Like Teen Titans, or the Titans show. I haven't watched it, because they want me to pay money to see that. It's like, I'm sorry. Do you have an established relationship with me that I'm going to pay you money for content now? No, I'm sorry. And this is both maybe the problem and the solution, which we'll get to in Super Connectivity. But what I want to say about this thing is, what Bendis is trying... So Bendis has decided that the last son of Krypton should be lonely. Because he can't really connect with Lois. And he's actually playing it with an empowerment to Lois, in the sense that that unlike your standard story that we see in something like Sabrina the Teenage Witch with, I am immortal and you will age and die, and that will cause the rift between us, is Lois saying, dude, what is our life going to be 200 years from now when I am dead? What is it going to be 20 years from now when I am a 20-year-old woman and I'm older, and they're going to draw me like Agatha Harkness because it's been 20 whole years. And I'm all of, 52 now. And so that means I'm Agatha Harkness. And what is that going to mean for our relationship? And sure, you're going to be the loving, caring guy, just like Cap was, visiting aging Peggy Carter in her infirmary as she's dying of dementia. But at the same time, there's this reality that, and yes, he is a good and loyal man, and he's sticking by her forever. But that isn't the relationship that humans have. You don't have a relationship where one person is immortal and forever young, and the other person ages and dies. And unless you're a gold digger, in which case that is just totally normal. That is what all of Trump's wives were always betting on. Look, and many other women's of rich men's wives. I'm not saying it's a judgment. And I'm not saying they don't love them and they're not bad and they're bad people. I'm just saying they understood the story when they went into it. They understood what they were buying into.
You drove Lilith Hellfire away.
Apparently, well, I think it's 9:00, and she said, "Look, I was 8 to 9. Now it's you and Phil's chance to talk fan theories, I guess." So,
well, yeah, she was eager, but also I know her router wasn't fixed. She was on Charlie Esser hotspot type deal, so.
Those are not so good.
Yeah.
Because they throttle you after a certain point.
Yeah.
Unless you get the hotspot device. The hotspot device is the one they won't throttle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're very picky.
But I did want to call this out on a good note. Moon Knight 200. It's like the last issue of this Moon Knight series. Very surreal, very trippy. Like end of this arc. But Charlie, you're gonna be jealous.
Okay.
Ray, who I talked to from Into the Night on his podcast a couple weeks back. Him and his co-hosts got drawn into the comic.
Oh.
Yeah, that's them in the corner with that's them in the corner with like the mask on. With the mask on their head. Yeah, see, and they have their names on their T-shirts. Yeah. Well,
you know what, friend? Let me tell you something. If we had a dedicated podcast, which you do, so it's like you're going to get drawn into the next Quasar comic book, I'm sure.
Yeah, what if we ever get one?
You need a freaking Nightwing comic. You need a Nightwing podcast.
Hey.
You need a Nightwing podcast.
Hey, oh yeah. Hey, this week coming up, probably this week when you listen to this on the podcast. Yeah, I'm talking to Fabian again because he's the co-writer on Nightwing right now.
So what I'm going to tell you right now, Philip, you need a Nightwing dedicated podcast. Because here's the thing.
I do.
Deadpool, you have a Nightwing dedicated podcast?
It's like a monthly thing, but yes.
Okay, well, see, that's the thing. Like, who goes once a month? One thing I've learned about the podcast industry from being a complete, flotsam on the river of podcasting is I literally do nothing except show up and talk. I have, the worst podcaster when it comes to actually, making podcasts a thing. I'm like, I don't know, someone said show up and talk, so I talk.
We know what you do, Charlie Esser.
I just show up and look pretty and spout big words, and then I'm done.
That was her describing you.
Yes, well, exactly. Thing is, you need to establish yourself as the go-to source. Because here's the thing: for the comic book writer who has a second-tier character like a Richard Grayson, he's second-tier, Philip. I'm sorry, he is. I'm not saying he's third tier. I'm not calling him D-list.
He's like the world's first kid sidekick. How dare you call him second tier?
Yes, he's the first kid sidekick.
And now he's his own man.
And actually, I don't know. Did Bucky come before him?
Nah.
Bucky was in 1941.
Dick Grayson was 1940.
Okay, so Dick Grayson made the cut. Good.
Yes.
Good for Dick Grayson. Although there may have been one before him. When did Stripey show up? I don't know.
Again, the audience is going, who? Exactly.
Exactly. But my point is that Dick Grayson, who's a great character, Dick Grayson is kind of the Hawkeye of the DC universe. Everyone loves him. There's not anyone who has a bad word to say about Hawkeye. He has regular shows that show up, and everyone loves him when he shows up. But here's what I'm going to say: if you did a Hawkeye podcast, the guy who's writing Hawkeye is going to listen to your podcast because he searches every day. Podcasts about Hawkeye. Podcasts about Hawkeye. And it's always like, oh, we talk about Hawkeye this episode. We talk about Hawkeye this episode. When they get to the one that's, here's everything about Hawkeye. So, here's what I'm going to tell you. When they actually do the next Quasar series, and the guy goes in, podcasts about Quasar, and the Quantum Zone comes up, he's going to be like, yes, this is what I was looking for every minute of my life.
Well, it probably helped, too, that on Into the Night, they just did I don't know if it's even up yet, but they did a interview with Max Bemis, who's writing Moon Knight right now, too, so he's very aware of them, because he was on their show. So.
Well, so there you go. So we got to get you in touch with the writer of the current, is Fabian ICS writing the current,
He's co-writing it, yeah, and I'm talking to him on
so
Tuesday,
you're gonna get you're gonna get your panel, Phil.
I'm making my push, man. Yeah.
You're gonna get your panel, and then you will be immortal. And you too will be immortal. Is Fabian ICS drawing it as well, or is?
No, he's just writing. So.
Yeah, I don't think I can draw too. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Unlike me, who can only write and draw, and they are the gods of comic books.
All right.
Okay. So I think that's that. You want to get to super connectivity?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's cut it here. Everyone, join us in like 2 days on the podcast for super connectivity. YouTube, couple minutes.
Well, we're going to talk whether or not the finances of Netflix are stable in a long-term economic growth pattern.
Yeah, kids. It's
Fun
just
stuff.
exciting. We'll talk some Marvel. We'll talk some comic books.
Yeah, those two.
Yes. All right, everyone. So send us your thoughts on TV, movies, comics, Lilith Hellfire's Love Life. Capes and Lunatics at gmail.com. Facebook.com/Capes and Lunatics. At Capes Lunatics on Twitter. Capes and Lunatics on Instagram, where all the cool kids hang out, like Charlie Esser. And the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And Charlie Esser, where can people discuss high finance with you?
Well, you can always direct me that old-fashioned email way the way that Dick Grayson once did. Back because he was alive for a long time. Very old man. At superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters like the hip kids do today. Like, I don't know, one of the new Roberts, I don't know who they are. Like Damian Wayne. He's probably on Twitter. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsselCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality, and I do apologize
For quality.
Bing! Oh, there's Maz. Ah, Mozzie. Getting to the end. Okay, that's all my things. So get us out of here, Phil.
All right, everyone. Oh, Howie. Oh, Little Hellfire. Come on, I need to drop this.
Do you want to do Lunatics 2, or do you want me to do both?
You can do both. I don't care. I just need to drop her saying Lunatics one day. All right, everyone. For another week, we have been the Capes.
Ampersand the Lunatics.
Nice.
There you go.
Who says that Charlie Esser can't multitask? He says he's like versatile.
That's when you sing when you put in tile. Versatile.
Oh, but you know what else we didn't discuss about Avengers 4? They said a trailer might be coming by the end of the year, and I guess they were throwing hints around that Namor might be coming to the MCU.
Yeah, well, we can talk about all that in super
connectivity.
Hey,
That's right.
That's how it works.
So join us soon.